If you don't treat life serious, life will never take you serious, even at your old age. Jesus at 30 years, he began ministry. For 3.5 years, he was done. He had accomplished. In his death, he said, it is finished. He never said, I'm finished. Most of the people at that age, they are doing a crazy thing and all that they are shouting is, I'm finished. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Yes, this is Wisdom Talks. I'm Joe Wisdom, and welcome back to our program. I'm so delighted to be back, and I want to basically look at what we did last time, and we thank God for the feedback that we have received from you people, your comments, and some of your questions that we are able to handle whenever you ask them. We are here for you. It is always glad to come to you on a Monday morning. Last time we did about phases of life, and in looking on phases of life, we discussed 3 areas or 3 phases of life. One of the things that we said is that in the phases of life, you discover that there is that appearance level, and in the appearance level, everything seems to work very well. Everything is in shape. Nothing is membrane. Everything is working as you had planned. But again, there's always another phase that always follow that, and that is the disappearance level. In the disappearance phase, you realize that everything now is, everything now goes haywire. Nothing looks like it's working out. And at that phase, sometimes discouragement hits. Sometimes people will run away from you. Sometimes some people will not pick up your calls. Some of the networks that you used to enjoy, some of the money that you used to have is not there. And that's the time, that's a very testing moment for each and every person. But do you know what? We say that in that level, it is the best because it's called the reappearance level, where everything that seemed like it was gone now gets back. More powerful, more better, and even with a great and a better foundation. So when we talk about the phases of life, we are talking about how God takes you through all those phases to strengthen you and to make sure that you are founded so well that your foundation will will stand the test of time. Remember people who built on the sand. When the weeds of life came, the building had to crumble together, they had to come down. So continue building and building well. Today I want us to look at another dimension of the phases of life. A new dimension of the phases of life. I want you to ask yourself, how old are you? Because I want to talk about age and how age informs the phases that you go through life. Number 1, there's what we call the age 1 to 30 years. Age 1 to 30 years. And we call that the foundational level, the foundational phase. When you talk about the foundational phase, age 1 to 30, you are basically laying a foundation of your life. This is where we go to Sunday school for those who are for those who come from Christian families. We go to Sunday school, we go to school, we go to high school. Age 1 to age 30, that is the foundational level. So many things, your values are settled at this level. Who you become is settled on this level. This is where even people in high school actually choose the subjects that they do and the careers they choose to go for. So that level is very critical because it is a foundational level. And remember what we say when we talk about foundations. The foundation determines the building. How deep, how big you want to go on up there, how tall you want to grow is dependent on how deep you get deep inside there. The foundation determines the building. People who have not gotten a good foundation will have some challenges even as they grow old. Some of the people that we see becoming armed robbers and all that, it is all about the foundation. We say the foundation determines the building. If you are well founded, If you are serious, if you are in that level, if you are serious in your 1 year to 30 years, if you are serious at that point, most probably you'll be a very successful person if you take life serious. But if you don't treat life serious, life will never take you serious, even at your old age. Remember what we say again, that your gray hair feeds on your black hair. So this is a level at which you are setting a foundation for everything that you are doing. Foundation for your career, foundation for your marriage, foundation for your businesses, foundation for your children. This is where you are setting basically the foundation of what you want to do the rest of your life. 0 to 30 years. In these years, you are allowed to make some mistakes. Because a lot of things that you do is trial and error. You are not sure about anything. This is where people engage in relationships that are not working. This is a place where some young men will go misbehaving and they impregnate girls anyhow. This is a place where you get someone maybe in high school goes and behaves in school. They are sent home. Maybe they are expelled or they are suspended in school. At this level, you make a lot of mistakes. But there's hope here. At this level, any mistake that you do, most probably you'll be forgiven. Because you are still testing the waters of life. You are still living, you are still not sure. Maybe you have not even connected with the right mentors in your life. So you can make some mistakes. And these mistakes as well can be avoided if you have the right people around you. This is where people engage in what we call, gangs. You connect to people who are not even going where you are going. This is where many people have no direction. This is where many people will feel like, they want to experiment anything. This is actually an experiential level where you want to experiment everything. You hear somebody did this and this was the outcome. You want to do it yourself. At this level, most of the people will not even hear when they are being maybe advised otherwise. When they are being given counsel, they cannot even take any counsel. They want to try it by their own. It is called the foundational level. It can be the best phase of your life if you navigate through it securely and safely. It can be the worst phase of your life if you are careless. A careless person will hate this phase. And we live to look back and see how many stupid mistakes they did. And this is why you find many people live regretting so many things they did at this level. Now, that level is good at that point. Now, we get into the next level, that is 30 to 40 years. Now, 30 to 40 years, this is a phase now, we call it the preparational years, the preparation phase. This is where you are being prepared for what you want to do the rest of your life. You are being prepared. 30 to 40 years. Remember, 30 to 40 years, you have experimented so many things in life. Now you want to begin now settling down. The excitement about the youthful age is over. You now want to prepare for your future. You now want to set, you now want to bring together bricks because there is something that you need to construct. You need to begin constructing your future. At this point, you cannot live a life of trial and error. Here you need to begin to connect with the people who matters. In this level, you don't need to just get any other job. You need to get a job that will help you grow. At this level, this is not a time to try getting a job, resigning, getting another. No. This is a time to calm down and determine and construct a vision for your destiny. This is a place where you don't need to engage in any other relationship. This is a place where you need to engage in a relationship that probably will end up to marriage. This is not a time to joke around with girls. This is not a time to joke around with money. This is a time, if you waste any opportunity, it will be very difficult for you to catch up. 30 to 40 years. Let me tell you something about 30 to 40 years. You remember the children of Israel? There is something that they were allowed to do. For 40 years, they were allowed to wander in the wilderness. But when the 40 years were over, they were preparing to enter the promised land. So in this time, you are supposed to be preparing to enter the promised land. And entering the promised land means getting to your place of rest. Not just walking around not knowing not sure of what you want to do. Not walking around following other people. No, it's about knowing what you want for life and following it. This is time to lay down a roadmap of what you want to achieve. This is where you set your goals very clearly. This is the time you abandon some of the relationships that are not adding value to you. And you begin to connect to people who matters, people who can challenge you, people who can see where you cannot see. 30 to 40 years is a very critical age. It's about preparation. It's about preparation. And you remember, Jesus at 30 years, he began ministry. For 3.5 years, he was done. He had accomplished. In his death, he said, it is finished. He never said, I'm finished. Most of the people at that age, they are doing a crazy thing and all that they are shouting is, I'm finished. Jesus said, it is finished. It is finished because he executed his assignment faithfully. Please be careful. 30 to 40 years. I pray that you'll be one of that person who will say, it is finished. That you have begun executing your assignment if God gives you many more years. Jesus died at 30, at 33. Simply because his assignment was over. Remember, he was not born to live, he was born to die. I know God will grant you many more years. So be very careful on how you navigate around those years. Now, something else that you need to understand is now from 40 years to 60 years. This one we call them productive years. You have already identified what you want to do. Having identified what you want to do, you have already begun laying a strong foundation of where you are going. Now, this is the time now to be productive. This is the time now to begin doing what you have been assigned to do. If you are sacked from your place of work at this age, please don't bother looking for another job because it will be so hard for you to work because you'll be working with the people from another generation. You'll be competing with your children at this level. 40 to 60 years is your productive age where you can work. And actually that is why even in government organizations and many organizations, you retire at 60 because that is the end of your productive life. After 60 years, there's not much more you can do. This is the time where you begin building your life, begin building your marriage, begin building. Actually, most of the people will build their houses at 40. Most of the people will begin to build their business empires at the age of 40. Most of the things will be built at 40. At 40 is when we have millionaires. Millionaires are made at 40s. So you cannot waste this time. This is not the time hip-hopping from one company to the other. No, this is the time to settle down and build what you are building. This is not the time to keep, keep, kukosana na your wife here and there. You are doing things, in front of your children. No, this is the time to calm down and build that marriage. From there, after you build yourself, you can now go to 60 to 90 years or more if God grants you the grace. That is what we call the legacy years. Legacy years now, yours is just to sit down. You are in legacy years, you don't make money. You just sit down and pour yourself out to others. This is the place now you want to pass over the baton to the next generation. This is now where you pour out your wisdom, your experience to the generation that is coming after you. Remember what the Bible says in Proverbs 13 verses 22, that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. How I pray that as you navigate life, you'll adhere and pray to God that He will help you do what you are supposed to do in every level. All is not gone. You can always begin from where you are. And I wish you all the best. And as you navigate these stages of life, remember, God is the answer to all what you are doing. If God doesn't lead you, remember, you'll just be merely taking a walk like anybody else. I am Joe Wisdom, and that is Wisdom Talk.